Why you still crave women's approval. Hi guys, my name is Apollonia Ponti. I'm your dating, relationship, and attraction coach. And I help you men not only master your dating skills and relationship skills, but also overall in your mindset and in your life. And I'm going to talk about something that is a tricky subject when it comes to seeking approval, just from others in general. But specifically, we're going to talk about men dating women and the men that are trying to seek approval. I want you to really listen to this video because even though you think you might not be doing this, this is exactly why you probably are. I'm going to discuss that in the video as well. And also too, how you can change this around, because a lot of times men that are seeking and craving women's approval do this subconsciously, and they actually end up not connecting or attracting high quality relationships in their life because they're not intentionally coming from a high quality position and showing up intentionally in their dating process with a woman or in your relationship. So let's go in here. So I want to really clarify and define why you still crave a woman's approval first by behaviors that will showcase that you're craving women's approval. And women means plural, just not just one, but when you get into a relationship with one, then this can happen too. So some behaviors that you might partake in is that you're overthinking absolutely everything when it comes to this woman. And typically when you overthink everything, the ideal reasons of why you overthink everything is because at the end of the day, all of us have this limiting belief one time of our lives or another is questioning, am I enough, right? Because think about the root of overthinking. If you're overthinking something, it's because there's a possibility that something else will not work out, or you will fail, or something will not happen, or you not get your outcome, or you will not get the success that you want in what area of what it is that you're overthinking, right? Many of us do this, but it's about how long are we staying here and how are we letting it interfere with our daily actions instead of ownership of why we're overthinking and doing the deeper work, which I do a lot on this channel. And then the second behavior is you're probably trying to seek affirmation from her. So a lot of men that I've coached before will get into attraction with a woman in the beginning stages and do great at attraction in the beginning stages. And then all of a sudden, when they start getting these feelings, again, things intensify, and they start getting in the relationship with her, they start noticing that they're seeking affirmation. And there's ways that you can seek affirmation, meaning you want to spend every waking minute with her, or you're constantly trying to plan for the future, or you're the one saying, I love you more, or you're the one initiating more, you're the one calling more, you're the one complimenting more. And because you're doing this, because there's a need for you to get validation through this. So your thing is, I'm going to I'm going to seek affirmation from this woman so she can tell me that I'm good enough, that she loves me, that I'm okay, and that I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Right. And then the third behavior that I've noticed is goes along with this, but impressing, right? So you're trying to impress her by gifts. You're trying to impress her by status. You're trying to impress her by money. You're trying to show off in some way or another. Women are very intuitive, I think, and men are too, but women have been trained to be very intuitive with these natures because of the fact that, you know, unfortunately we have to be very aware of our surroundings, but also too, this is something that we've had happen and we see intensify when we're dating men is because I do think that there's a lot of approval-seeking behavior that's taught in the men dating world. And this is where I'm kind of on the fence about, you know, really pushing forward and impressing a woman. Because impressing a woman doesn't come from your forced action. It comes from your conscious actions of just who you are day to day and how you show up. You can't fake it. And so the next one in regards to a behavior is, I think that one of the biggest one is uncontrollable, like love bombing intensities, right? So more like of a matter of wanting to be with this person and being like, oh my God, she's the one, and diving all in. And then you're traveling together within the first week and you're like, this is the one, and this is the one it could be. And so typically what happens is you have to understand that relationships, the way relationships blossom is when you start here together and you're going up and the trajectory point is on the same levels. Because typically when we go into relationships and you're craving a woman's attention, you'll go in hot. You know, that rap song just came in my head, coming in hot. Anyways, so this one coming in hot. And then from there, you are also trying to stay here. This is literally the last thing we can do as humans. We can't stay on the top all the time. It's life. Look, think about life. Life is not always on the top, right? You're always going through waves, and intensity is where people always go in. Is like, because they're trying to feel a loneliness most of the time, or they are so addicted to the dopamine, or they want something so bad. that they forget about those red and yellow flags. A next behavior would be passive. You become very passive at nature when a woman's in front of you because you think that I have to impress this woman, so let me just keep my mouth shut at times, or let me just deny my needs so she'll like me, so we don't argue, so she sees that I'm perfect, right? This actually is a attraction killer. Women don't want a man that's passive. Women want a man that is also not only intentful with his mission in life, like I continue to say, but also very vocal with what he wants from life because he knows that he deserves this. But coming from a place of empathy, groundedness, a solid rock, a solid foundation where it's not coming from an arrogancy or if someone needs to fill a need because he fills it up himself. And then a lot of this, like you see, is over-investing. And a lot of this too, it comes down to game playing. Here's the difference between game playing and human behavior. This is what I talk about all the time. Human behavior is understanding how humans are wired when it comes to attraction, life, wants, and needs. Think of this. What is your favorite sports car, right? Or whatever collecting item that you like. I love cars. I've always loved cars growing up. I love racing. I love going fast in cars. If I could, I would love to sit in the passenger seat with a Formula One race car driver and do those tracks and go crazy fast. I'm a thrill seeker when it comes to cars. So here's where I want you guys to understand. Think of something that you really value, right? Think of something that you really value right now. And you see a value in it. It's not meaning family, it doesn't mean friends. I'm talking something quote unquote, let's talk about something materialistic, for example, because we're going into gameplay and I really want to break this down. Now, there is a reward for a vehicle for me, right? For a car, an old modern car. If I could have an old modern Porsche built in like the 1990s, I would love that, or 1980s, right? And so, but the value in those vehicles go up. Why? Because over time, it's taking care of itself. Over time, there's something that has happened in that value, right? And that's why with you, there's a need for it because there's a reward for you, right? There's something that you've loved about this. So human behaviors comes down to understanding that the same thing happens with human interaction. There is a reward for something that we always seek, and there's rules everywhere that we leave. When you leave the house, there's a stop sign that you have to follow. What happens is we think game playing is the opposite side of rules, right? Let me be inauthentic and to get this woman and not understand the component of human behaviors. And let me play a game. Let me play this tactical thing. Let me say this one line all the time, because if I follow X, Y, Z, I'll get the girl, but it ends up not happening. So these are the two differences between gameplay and human behaviors. And so these are behaviors that we typically start to crave a woman and seek her approval, are because of the fact that these are behaviors and beliefs that are literally in our programming. And many times what I've seen with men and their programming, it's because either they've diminished their, I don't want to call it a man card, but their masculinity, I would say. They are more in their feminine, right? Also, too, a lot of times why this happens is because they've maybe came from an abusive household or a father that was overly maybe abusive or loud, and they don't want to become that person, or raised with just a single mother. So they haven't really adapted to the masculine essence of what a man truly brings, and they're diminishing it and they're hiding it. And instead they're playing video games at home. Instead, they're just not working on their goals and really cutting out of their comfort zone. There's less and less men that are approaching women these days. There's less and less men that are wanting to be intimate with women these days. And there's a reason for that. And I think that this is coming to a head of understanding where your programming comes from. Because guess what? Women want a man that is in his masculine just as much as you would want a woman possibly that's in her feminine. And so when I say this, it's because you have to really fix your belief system and your behaviors that are stemming from your programming of why you're still seeking and craving a woman's approval. Because the only approval that you're going to need is yours. And then when you find that great woman, she's going to naturally approve you, and you guys will blossom together because you approve of each other's values with one another. So a lot of times these blocks will also stop you from connecting with really great women, high quality women, whatever we want to call them, but women that are aligned with truly knowing what they want, I believe is the essence of it. And also understanding how a man really can bring value to a relationship and value to her life is really important in connecting with them. A lot of times when we crave a woman's attention and we don't get these subconscious blocks and subconscious programming out of our behaviors, what will happen is we'll attract toxic relationships. We'll attract really needy women. We'll attract relationships that emotionally unavailable women as well. And we're always feeling like we're chasing. So many times women that you date may not be able to tell you why they're not attracted to you or why things are not connecting. But she will just know that something's off. And many times, as a lot of you've seen, I've done interviews. I'm sure there's plenty of interviews out there of other women doing interviews and asking questions. But unfortunately, women cannot really classify and define exactly why they don't feel chemistry all the time. And that's why I'm here, because I will do it for you. And being a woman in a man's world and working with over 5,000 men in private coaching and over 15,000 men altogether in group and private have been one of the biggest game changers for me to really be able, as a woman, to really help you and define exactly what is happening and why women do certain things. I can call it just like this, trust me. So when this happens, you need to be able, if you want to stop this, okay, when you're chasing and seeking approval from women, we need to transcend your patterns, because you deserve a woman to see you. You deserve the man that she wants and the man that you want to be no matter what. That man that's driven, a man that is sincere, a man that is humorous, assertive, generous, knows his values, speaks his boundaries, is introspective, is sexy and insecure. Insincere, not insecure. And so one of the things here is many men are lacking this. Why? Because they're not fixing the patterns of how they're showing up and not scaling to be in a more frame of getting out of their comfort zone and evolving themselves around better relationships with not only women, but men as well, men friendships. So when the man who is not trying to be anything but himself and has these ulterior things, like I said, confident, humorous, introspective, assertive, sexy, generous, confident, compassionate, and driven, when he has this, he doesn't have to try to be anything but himself, because he knows who he is and he naturally inherits worthiness and constantly will continue to strive to be the best. So he only wants to date the best. Understood? So if you want to get that type of energy in your relationships, if you want to be the best, and if you're ready to put in the discipline, to put in the work, and if this is speaking to you and you want to change some things, because guess what, guys? Many men will judge the practice and say, oh, I'm a successful guy. I do this. I have this. I drive this car. And those men are also the ones that are the least confident and also are driven by their status, and underneath is called what we call fake confidence, and actually naturally subconsciously seek approval from women still. So no matter what, do not judge a practice of whatever man is watching this. I help men from all areas of life. And what is important is if you want to transcend and you want to inherit and believe that you naturally can attract women effortlessly and also from a place of worthiness, I want you to book a call so you can work with me for 3 months. If you want to work with me, I do transformational coaching. It's a 12-week program that's only open for a selective amount of men. You can book a call below. And also, if you don't have the time, or if you don't want to book a call, you can start somewhere with me. It's download my free ebook. It's called the 7 Common Mistakes ebook that men make when attracting women. That will be down below and also at the end screen. As always, thank you for watching. And I have a video right over here that you can watch next. And as always, if this is your first time subscribing or viewing, I welcome you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button. As always, I'll see you in the next video. And remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.